Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Richard Chaplin and the founder and chief executive of the Managing Partners Forum, and I'm your proud host for today's ceremony. Now, the awards that we are about to celebrate are Management Excellence Awards, and they recognize the vital contribution of management to the business of professional services firms. Now, as you'll hear from many of the winning entries, that contribution was vital during the pandemic, at times verging on existential. Now, in common with all forum events, the awards have an important educational dimension. So I'll be conducting live interviews with a representative from each of the winning firms on the challenges that they faced and how they went about resolving them. And I'm sure you'll be inspired by hearing about their fantastic achievements. As you know, the Forum's awards are grouped under three themes, each with multiple categories. And these are the themes, you can see them on the slide. So helping your clients be more productive, enabling your community to flourish, and making your business more productive. Now, in addition to announcing winners for each category, we will also be recognizing 3 Best in Theme winners at the end of the ceremony. And we're also giving an Exceptional Achievement Award to an individual who has made a significant contribution to our sector. The next one is the community theme. Now, the community theme aims at, I'll just read you what it says. Given finance and cash flow carry most weight in partner direct discussions, it's easy for community contribution to be given lower priority, yet this remains an excellent way for firms to develop their people in terms of both individual skills and teamwork, and to enhance their firm's employer brand for new recruits, as well as boost the engagement of current and employees. There is only one category, so this is also, if you like, the best of theme, and I'm absolutely delighted that Larissa Hale can join us today on behalf of the business and the community. So welcome, Larissa, to the stage, and still looking very, very suntanned after your honeymoon, so congratulations on that.
Hi, Richard. Thank you.
All right, so let's move on. Who are the people who are up for the final for this one? And because it's a single category, we actually have a few more than some of the other categories. So firstly, we have Arthur Cox, Brachers, iResearch, Shoesmith, heard of them before, Strook and Levan, and William Fry. So we have then 6 entries. So let's just run through who's in second place. And the second place is 2 firms, Arthur Cox and iResearch. And over to you now, Larissa, to tell us who the winner is.
And the winner is Strook and Levan. Congratulations.
Fantastic. And I would now like to welcome Kerry Cooperman, who is the Special Counsel and Director of Pro Bono at Strook. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Larissa. This is a wonderful honor for our firm and our colleagues here. We're very grateful.
Let me just kind of talk a little bit about what the citation from the judges said. They said that the COVID pandemic brought many challenges to firms, that the winning firm is concerned not just about its own welfare, but also about the thousands of small businesses, non-profits and sole traders who would struggle as the economy locked down and who might not have survived. And you put together an amazing alliance. And my first question really is this is maybe a UK perspective, but certainly from what I can see, New York law firms have a reputation for being highly competitive. I think that's probably an elegant way of putting it. So how did you go about persuading 25 large law firms, 7 legal services providers, and Morgan Stanley to join your Small Business Legal Relief Alliance in a matter of weeks?
Well, Richard, it's not easy at all. It doesn't sound easy, and in fact, it's not easy. But I think we had some advantages that others didn't. And I think certain of those advantages arose from the fact that we've done this work before, and we've done it quite a few times before. Going back to the aftermath of 9/11, we created a somewhat similar small business emergency legal relief initiative. And in a series of local, regional, national, even international disasters that followed, we have forged and then honed our ability to do disaster relief. So we were sort of primed, if you will, or ready when the moment came. And that's one of the things that Strook prides itself on is its ability to react, to stand up, to activate when many others are paralyzed, and understandably paralyzed and shut down as a result of crises and disasters. So we've done this before, and I think that's been very important for us.
Yeah, and interesting, you probably wouldn't know this, well, certainly wouldn't, but 20 years ago, the first time we ran these awards, we actually had, I think it was even Giuliani, I can't remember. Anyway, we had a New York firm coming over because it was literally a month or two after 9/11. So there you go. So history repeats itself, you could be. One of the things I found particularly interesting about your submission was this notion of reframing, which is a term that psychologists use a lot, but actually helping your lawyers not thinking of themselves as lawyers, but members of a rapid response team. Can you talk us a bit through about how that came up with and the impact it had?
Richard, it's a very different way, I think, to think about, for lawyers in particular, and I think business people as well, to think of themselves in this way. And I think it's one of the innovations of our program in particular. We modeled this program, and we modeled on our approach really on the medical emergency disaster legal response framework. So focusing on not just quality, which is important, but speed of response, triaging, customization, and thinking of ourselves as first line emergency relief responders, sort of wearing that hat as lawyers. It's sort of a different mindset, but it's one that we've been cultivating for a number of years. So while it may, I think, be less familiar of a frame of mind and a philosophy for lawyers and business people who haven't done it in the past, many of our lawyers have, and supported by our management executive team, we're actually quite used to doing this at this point. So it's not quite as unfamiliar to us.
I think it's genius personally, but anyway, that's another story. What sort of issues, and we talked a bit earlier about the sort of organizations that you were tackling, individuals, small organizations who were struggling through the pandemic. What sort of issues were emerging that your response team were being asked to resolve?
One of the challenges, I think, was that we were responding to such a wide range of issues. This was a crisis, of course, that wasn't limited geographically. It was affecting everybody. So we saw literally dozens and dozens, maybe more than that, scores of different sorts of issues, and thankfully had the infrastructure and the team with 26 large US-based law firms handling it. We were able to cover the quite wide spectrum. I would say probably the two main issues that we saw overwhelmingly, what I would call landlord-tenant issues. So most of our small business and nonprofit clients that we supported were facing existential crises in a number of ways, but one of them was the likelihood and possibility of getting evicted due to the inability to pay rent. We had hundreds of businesses that were coming to us with the prospect, in some cases the immediate prospect, of being kicked out of their locations and therefore having to shut down. That was a very important one. I think bankruptcy issues became very important for us, and we were able to very quickly address those. And of course, grants and loans, government provided and private provided, were very important. And navigating that process in the US was very challenging at the outset of the pandemic, and in many ways still is. So those are some of the important ones, and there are many others.
Thanks very much. And can I ask a final question? And we are coming up with time with Perry now. Are you going to continue your good work once the pandemic is behind us?
This program, the Small Business Legal Relief Alliance, is continuing to operate, and we will be continuing to support these small businesses and evolving with them and evolving with their challenges into the future. And we're very grateful to the participating law firms, legal service organizations, Morgan Stanley as well, for staying with us and for evolving with us. So the answer is a resounding yes to that.
Oh, that's really great. Well, look, we must thank you again, Kerry, and thank you, and great to have your input and to see that there's some amazing things happening across the world. And it's great that you took the time to enter for these awards. I know you went in last year. This year you've won, so congratulations.
Thank you, Richard, and thanks to everyone.
That really concludes the awards for this year. And I wanted to congratulate all the winners and say better luck next year to everyone else. Thank you all for being here. Hopefully see you next year for the 21st anniversary of these unique awards. And hopefully, one never quite knows in life, they'll be face to face. So thank you again.